What is up, guys? Chase Oliver here, bringing you another video to my channel. It's back, the MMA podcast. I decided to hit Alan up because this is a big week for us as MMA fans. Of course, UFC Rotterdam happened, so we're going to talk about that. But also, Alan and I's boy, Stipe Miocic, is going for the UFC heavyweight title. If you guys remember from the past podcast, we always talked about Stipe Miocic very closely, just like Robbie Lawler, another favorite of the Chase and Alan podcast. And so I had to bring Alan up to talk about UFC 198, possibly looking like one of the best cards of the year. Also UFC Rotterdam and other UFC stuff, and maybe some Bellator if there's something going on with them. Alan, how's it going, my friend?
What's going on, man? It's been a while, but damn excited for this. I think I don't know. I don't write about it anymore due to other writing obligations, but I feel like the past 6 to 12 months has been really good for MMA.
Oh,
Sure,
yeah.
the drama's been a little crazy, but just there's so many. I think they sell back on cards, which is why you see more stacked cards. And I don't know, lately I've just been so interested after kind of losing interest for a bit in late 2014, early 2015.
Yeah, no, because like that was when UFC was putting out like all these random ass cards, man, where you're just like, man, I'm not gonna stay up late to watch Benson Henderson take on Tarek Safadine or whatever. Like this this year, I feel like there's not a lot of bunch of other cards. Like Fight Pass has all these other like events and stuff like that,
Hmm.
but it doesn't feel like I'm getting way too much UFC. It feels a little bit more spread out compared to the past years of the UFC. Like there's a little bit more spread out. You know what cards are going to be happening. Unlike where it's like one weekend or 1 month, they'll have like 3 events. One's at like 6 in the morning. You got to wake up to the crack of dawn. Then the other one's later in the day at 7 p.m. But do you really want to go watch that fight after you watch one fight after waking up early? No, you don't really want to do that. So I feel like the UFC, they're doing a better job at like kind of spreading out the cards, like you said, and making them a little bit more stacked so people would want to wake up and see these cards.
Exactly. There was one time, it was summer 2014. I think they did a New Zealand show headlined by Nate Marquardt versus James DeHuna. Like, who honestly would want to watch that? But then, I don't know if you remember, they did 2 shows a day. They would do one in New Zealand, and then they did one, I think, in like San Antonio, Texas. And
Yeah.
the main event was Cub Swanson, Jeremy Stevens, and respect to both guys. Very fun to watch. But it's just, you're doing 2 shows a day, and then you have all these guys no one's ever heard of, and it's just. Oh man, it was so. I remember the whole topic was oversaturated, and it seems like they've cut back now with the fight nights. You get at least 2 or 3 compelling matchups, and it's just better. And then obviously in July we're gonna see so many stack cards. I think it's like 5 title fights in 3 days.
Well, that,
Well,
that that's understandable because that's like their big weekend. That's
of
like
course,
like their Super Bowl, their WrestleMania, their whatever you want to call it, NBA Finals. That's like their big weekend. That's understandable. I'm cool with that. But I'm talking about when they just put on all these random cards where it's just like, I do not know why you having these cards.
yeah, just you need to have good headliners. Some that like recently they went to Croatia, which was obviously awesome being Croatian. I was really excited for. Obviously, Crow Cup unfortunately suspended slash retired, but I was couldn't believe they put Rothwell and Dos Santos. I was like, wow, these are 2 arguable top 5 heavyweights. And yeah, sure, the rest of the card wasn't great, but it was just at least have that big main event. Well, 2 years ago, you had fights like I mentioned, James DeHuna, and Mark Carl.
In New
Oh, what was
Zealand.
that?
Who,
Yeah,
yeah. Like,
well,
this,
I remember, yeah, like I mentioned, look, I like Swanson Stevens, but then they made event. I was like, why? No one is that really gonna sell out an arena? Like they were just doing these random shows, and thankfully now, like you look even at a fight night, it's like, all right, this is a pretty big deal. And we're gonna get to Overeem Arlovsky. It's like, all right, this is a fight where Overeem could pretty much solidify himself as a number 1 contender, or Arlovsky could rejuvenate his career for the 18th time. So, and we got to see it.
yeah, exactly. And like if this like was the like what UFC was like a couple years back, the main event would have been the co-main, which was like Struve versus Silva. And like, yeah, that's cool. Struve is main eventing in his homeland, but that's like, would you rather take Overeem versus Arlovsky or Struve versus Antonio Bigfoot Silva?
Yeah,
So
Struve's momentum's been derailed. Poor health problems, but man, Overeem though, yeah, it was funny. I saw Tom Lawler, who was probably one of the more entertaining fighters. He posted something saying, "Out of this whole new USADA era where drug testing is so stringent, Who would have thought it would have benefited Alistair?
I know, right? He used to be like the big one that everyone thought he was on something.
Like, man. And look, credit to Jackson's camp. I know Jackson wasn't his corner, but I do think Jackson's camp has influenced him greatly. But it's just crazy seeing Overeem once again. I guess not just revive his career, but just change up his fighting. Because I feel like when Overeem was obviously the master, 265-pound testosterone-filled freak, like he would just try to impose his will on his opponents. That's what he did in the later stage of the Strike Force. He did it against Lesnar, obviously. He tried doing it against Bigfoot, then ultimately gassed out. Now you see him really just trying to pick his shots, staying patient, not obviously managing his cardio. And it's pretty enjoyable to watch. Sure, we all miss the superhero-looking dude, but hey, Overeem's always a fascinating fighter, and this has been really enjoyable to watch.
He's always superhero to me. But so yeah, UFC Rotterdam happened. It was a fun show. I'll say that it was fun to wake up to it. Being Dutch, it was cool that the Netherlands got some love from the UFC, and they got to see their hometown people kick some ass. That was my biggest fear for this card. I was all like, Arlovski can beat Overeem. Silva could definitely knock the fuck out of Struve, because Struve is known for a chin, and Silva he can throw. He can throw. So I said the only person that we're going to be cheering for is Jermaine. And that's it. Everyone else, like, being dead honest, when I was watching this card, I'm like, yeah, Struve's probably gonna lose. Overeem up there. It's like kind of a question mark, but it delivered. All the native home people won, and it was a good night for the people who cheer for the Dutch like me. So, Gunnar Nelson though was definitely very good in this fight against Albert Turmenov. I don't know if you saw that one. He looked really, really good though.
Yeah, Turmenov was really getting a lot of publicity for his recent fights. He knocked the hell out of Alan Juban, who was kind of this prospect everyone liked, and then he beat Lorenz Larkin, which is a pretty fun fight. With the whole Russian connection, a lot of these up-and-comers are getting hyped, obviously, with Khabib and Rustam Khabilov. But, man, just Gunnar Nelson totally tooled him on the ground. And I felt like he looked lighter. I don't know, because when he fought Damian Maia, like, we didn't get much of a glimpse of Gunnar because he was just getting grappled at will. Like, when guys fight Damian Maia, you can't really judge them because he's just all over him. But I don't know, I just felt like Gunnar looked much lighter in this fight and more explosive. Maybe it's to train with Conor, who knows. But this was definitely surprising because Tumenov was one of the more up-and-comers in the crowded welterweight division.
Yeah, Tumenov, like, they're showing highlights of this kid. I was like, oh my god, Gunnar Nelson's screwed. I feel bad for him too, because Gunnar Nelson's a young guy too. That looked like he had potential. Like he's coming off a split. He's not coming off like a win streak or anything like that. Turmenov, he was trying to get a 6-fight win streak, and Gunnar Nelson made this kid look like he never fought before. I was all like, this guy's supposed to be on a 6-fight win streak. Like Gunnar Nelson's like making this guy look like a tool.
Yeah, it was because it wasn't a big turnaround, but just with the whole Conor situation, you wonder how much. I assume he's very focused. Gunnar Nelson seems like the utmost professional, but. It would just seem like the weird matchup for him. It was obviously a very exciting matchup, but yeah, just the way he transitioned to get the rear naked choking, it was something. And once again, welterweight just so crowded. It's like you could put together a winning streak, you're doing something really right because it's such an unpredictable division.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Tyron Woodley's getting title shots. I mean, you can do anything in the welterweight division.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. But Jermaine, she looked good, but she didn't beat anyone worth the damn, to be honest. I don't know this NLL knows.
I don't know if you knew, she got offered the Cyborg fight, but she wanted to fight in her hometown, which it's not an excuse, but let's just say things worked out.
It's a respectable excuse, okay? I'll say it's respectable. You wanted to fight in your hometown, that's cool, but you should fight Cyborg.
Yeah. Hey, it might happen afterwards. Who knows? But I know TRT is pretty much gone. Obviously, it's been abolished from the sport, but just looking at the consequences of not having TRT anymore, I don't think any fighter is affected from it more than Bigfoot. When you just look at his body now, he just looks so deflated. I remember when Bigfoot, there was a picture of him weighing in when he fought Fedor 5 years ago, and he just looks ripped and just so muscular. He looks like a killer, and now you just see this flabby dude. He's not really explosive. He never was really that explosive, but he brings nothing to the table other than being a punching bag. And it's very unfortunate considering this guy's beating Fedor and over him.
Yeah, no, and Bigfoot also, man, like, that Mark Hunt fight must have killed his career, dude, because that guy can't take any more punches, dude. Like, he's just getting knocked out. Like, Stefan Struve didn't really, the skyscraper, my boy, didn't really do anything. And it's just,
one knee.
It was it. It was done. And then Bigfoot was like, "Oh no, I was good, dude. You were like trying to take down, but you weren't. You were just laying there getting hammer fisted. I would stop the fight too. You weren't doing anything, Bigfoot."
I'm looking at his record right now. I'll admit I did not see the Soul Palele fight, but I wonder how he won that fight because it's just, man, he's obviously getting, man, the Mark Hunt fight was rough. He got KO'd by Mir, Arlovsky. Like, it's just, I don't know how an athletic commission can tell this guy to, I don't know how they could book him for an upcoming card. Just, he's taken so much punishment. Like, I think the last 6 fights he's been knocked out 4 times.
Yeah, that's not good at all. Like he might have to hang up the gloves because
I know heavyweight's light, but man, eventually you just got like I think him and Gonzaga are just 2 guys that enough's enough.
Yeah, Gabriel Gonzaga is still doing weird shit. I don't know what he's doing. But the real main event of the fight was Alistair taking on Andre Arlovsky, and I was so afraid, man. What like the beginning portion when Arlovsky was just pounding on Alistair, but Alistair, God, the old Alistair would have kept his hands down and got his ass kicked. The defense on Alistair was just amazing. I just remember watching that and just seeing the replay. He guarded all those shots, only let one body shot go through, which is fine, you know. Yeah, body shots hurt. But the fact that he guarded all those shots that Arlovsky was going at him was just great. And just his timing and his technique. Like, I swear, Winklejohn and Greg Jackson, they made a beast in Alistair Overeem. They made a monster, and I don't think this guy can be stopped, Alan. I'm being dead serious. I don't know who's stopping Alistair Overeem.
Yeah, I think he matches up definitely well with Stipe. Verdum's so tricky. Like anything can happen. But
Alan, I'd like to say that I match well with Fabricio Verdum. You know, everyone, I just want to say thank you for watching me fight Andre Arlovsky. Everyone was probably worried about me in this fight, but I wasn't worried because, you know, I taught everything that Andre Arlovsky knows. All his moves I already knew before. It was in my head. I knew he was going to try to pepper me with punches because I taught him how to do that. You know? So, when it comes to Fabricio Verdum, I know everyone's going to say, Alistair, how are you going to beat him? Last time he took you down? Well, this is a new and improved Alistair Overeem. And so I'm going to take him down. And I'm going to beat him up. And then everyone's going to say, what about his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Well, I guess you never heard of Overeem Jiu-Jitsu. It's far superior than Cesar Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu combined. And, yeah, when I look at Stipe Miocic, I look at a lesser version of Junior Dos Santos. And last I checked, he lost to Junior Dos Santos. And I killed Junior Dos Santos. So, yeah, I'm going to become the heavyweight champion. Greg Jackson has taught me how to become one with the waterfall. I'm going to go make my own division afterwards, the super heavyweight division, because once I become heavyweight champion, there's really no one for me to face besides Cain Velasquez. And once I win the super heavyweight title, I'm going to go to WrestleMania 33 and challenge Brock Lesnar for UFC Rotterdam 2. It's going to be great, Alan. It's going to be awesome.
Get your career all mapped out.
Yes. Everything's all mapped up with the Reem. When you just know everything, you just know it. You gotta understand, the Reem knows how everything's gonna go. You know, everyone said I was over once I lost to Bigfoot, once I got knocked out. But I saw it as a vision to get better, and that's what I did.
By the way, for people that actually are huge fans of Overeem, or just fans of MMA, I watched the recent episode. I heard of Overeem. He does like this whole video stream called The Reem. I've never seen it before until the last one. It's season 4, episode 1. It's like 40 minutes long. It starts with the Bigfoot fight, but then it transitions into his overall training at Jackson's. It goes into the junior fight. I think also they show some of the Roy Nelson fight. It's just so in depth, and just 40 minutes. It takes you to the deeper side of Overeem's life, and any MMA fan should check this out. I know Overeem he's hated by many people, but I think this is a good side of him, and I really enjoyed it. So that's my promotion for it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good that Overeem is promoting himself. I actually should go check that out. I didn't know he was doing a thing called The Reem.
It's called The Reem, and he's been doing this since like 2010, but I think the last few years he took it off because he's been struggling. But I think now he's got his guy there, and they're ready to go beat.
He posts these afterwards, right? He doesn't post them during the fight, like before the fights, right?
This last one he actually did before the fight, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, because that's like such a... I don't know, because if I'm a fighter, I'm gonna if I'm gonna fight over him, I'm gonna refresh that page until he posts it, so I know what he's gonna do.
I think he wanted to do something where it just highlights his last year because obviously this card was dear to him in Dutch.
Yeah.
So I think he just wanted to everything have, being Struve, being Nelson, obviously being Dos Santos, and man, I love there's a lot of backstage footage of just him talking to different people, and it shows all his different coaches who he's brought to Jackson's because it's not just Jackson Wingerjohn, he's brought people from Holland to work with, and yeah, it's just really deep and really makes you appreciate the guy. I know he's done a lot of terrible things, and I've heard stories about him at the Black Zillions not necessarily going well, but
that's the Black Zillions. But it's the Black Zillions still. Do we believe the Black Zillions all that much?
They're not very stable, but yeah, I think he's in that John Jones category. Regardless of what he does, he's just such an exciting spectacle. Every time he fights, it's just must watch, and I really look forward to it, man. Man, if he somehow got that title shot at MSG, oh my god, it would be.
Everyone wants to fight at MSG.
Can't blame him.
UFC MSG. John Jones versus Anthony Rumble Johnson, or John Jones / DC versus Anthony Rumble Johnson. Ronda versus Miesha Tate / Amanda Nunes. Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz too.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. I think they're gonna do Conor and Nate beforehand, but who knows? The sport's so unpredictable.
Yeah, exactly. I would like to see I would like to see Frankie fight actually on MSG.
Oh yeah, that would be sick. One final note before we shift. Do you remember the second fight between Reem and Verdum and just how awkward that was?
No, I don't. The Strikeforce one where he got taken down a lot.
Strikeforce one where Verdum just did not trust himself and just pulled guard at any possible.
Yeah, he didn't want to fight him. He just kept on laying on the ground.
Yeah, because that was after the Fedor fight. Overeem was Ubereem at the time. So, yeah, that was just a weird fight. But no, I honestly now it's gonna be much different because we're giving him so much confidence in his striking ability. So it's one of the so and now obviously Overeem being Strikeforce. So it's one of the trophies where not many people are clamoring for it, but who's gonna hate it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's going to be a good one if it happens, because
it's true. I'm not gonna rub Stipe, but all right, let's get into 198.
Yes, UFC 198. So this card, Alan, was this card originally supposed to be 198, or was this supposed to be 199?
I heard actually this was supposed to be just a fight night.
Okay, so yeah, originally this card was supposed to be a Brazilian fight night card. Obviously, what happened was this originally early in the year. During Super Bowl weekend, Fabricio Werdum was supposed to defend his heavyweight championship against Cain Velasquez. Of course, Cain Velasquez being Cain Velasquez, he got injured again. I swear, I do not know any heavyweight champion that gets injured more than Cain Velasquez. But yeah, Velasquez had to pull out the fight. So, they need to find a replacement, and on 2 weeks' notice, Stipe Miocic stepped up, and I was all celebrating. I was like, good, Werdum's no longer going to be our heavyweight champion. But then Werdum pulled out because he said, yeah, fuck this. I'm injured too. And also, I'm going to get my ass kicked by the Stipe kid if I fight him on 2 weeks' notice. So, let's move the fight back. So, 196 became Diaz versus not Diaz versus Dos Anjos. McGregor versus Dos Anjos before Dos Anjos got injured. God damn, what's with all these injuries? Diaz and McGregor became UFC 196. UFC became a free show where we saw Stevie Wonderboy Thompson kick the shit out of Johnny Hendricks. Oh my god, that was the greatest thing I've ever watched. And
that was pretty insane. Unfortunately, Roy Nelson, Jared Rochelle also happened on that card, which might be the worst fight I've ever seen.
Worse than Kimball and Dada 5000?
Ooh.
I don't think anything's going to be worse than that shit.
I walked into that one.
No, that was the worst. But yeah, so UFC Fight Night happened, and pretty much the numbers got all mixed up, and so now this one's UFC 198. Werdum versus Stipe Miocic. Sadness fell over this card as Anderson, the greatest of all time, Silva, just had something wrong with his appendix, and he can't fight Uriah Hall. And Alan, thank God this fight's not happening, because this would have been the most boring fight or fight of the night on the card.
Really? No, I'm totally on the other side.
No.
I was really captivated. Look, I know both guys are counter-strikers, but just the possibility of just the oh my god moment was so high.
I just see this fight. They're just looking at each other.
It's a definite possibility, don't get me wrong. And I'm a little emotional because when I used to cover MMA, I actually interviewed Uriah Hall for like 2 hours. Yeah, it was this Black History Month tour that
Did
they did.
did he speak up? Because I noticed that he doesn't speak up a lot. Like I always feel like he's whispering.
Uh, well, it was a lunch, so
Oh, okay.
we got to communicate. It was him and Demetrius Johnson, and they came to New York for like a event. This was in 2014. He was coming off the win over Chris Lieben. He actually, quote unquote, retired Chris Lieben. So yeah, he was a really cool dude. And then I met him at a comedy show in July. Well, not met him. I saw him and Kelvin Gastelum were in New York, so I got to hang out with him there. So yeah, he's a really good dude. And honestly, I was excited for this fight. Just the possibility of like some spinning wheel kick or just some crazy knee from Anderson or Raya. It definitely got me excited for this fight. But I hear Anderson wants to fight at 200, so man.
Is that why he pulled out? He was like,
I don't know about that. Dude, I hear a bladder. Having a mess up with your bladder is just one of the most painful things you could go through.
Yeah, I've had that when I had my appendicitis. I had that my bladder almost exploded, so I had to get the. Not fun. No catheter. Catheters are the worst, especially when you're awake and they put them in. But yeah, but the thing is, Anderson's coming off a loss, and I love Anderson. Anderson's one of my favorites of all time. But dude, Anderson needs to stop dicking around, man. That's how he lost the Bisping fight, because he was dicking around. And I feel like with this Ural Hall fight, he would have dicked around too much, because ever since that Weidman fight, the first one, I don't know what happened to Anderson. Like, the second Weidman fight, he was doing fine until he broke the leg. The Diaz fight, it was just like Anderson didn't really want to play with Diaz that much. It was still a good fight. He just didn't want to play with him. The Bisping fight, you know, it was just like Anderson, after he felt he won, he just said, fuck it. I'm just going to go for the knockout. I'm just going to go for the coolest knockout I can possibly pull off, instead of actually trying to finish the fight. So, like, this one, I feel like he would have lost. I feel Spider would have lost, and that would have been bad for Anderson, because that would be 4 straight losses. Because remember, Diaz fight doesn't count anymore.
Very true. You gotta take into consideration that this fight was in his hometown, so I would expect him to be at least a little more inspired.
Well, last time I saw him in his hometown, he came in out of shape and he beat up Stephan Bonner, and he didn't try to beat him up that bad.
Hey, and Bonner was on roids, so kudos to Anderson for that one.
Yeah, fat ass. I was watching that fight again, and I remember just seeing Anderson, and I was like, God damn, Anderson's fat in this fight. How did he just let Bonner hit him?
Well, that was at 205, so
oh yeah, that's true.
Anderson had some weight, so he couldn't really do anything with that. But yeah, that Bisping fight, that was there for a taking, but he just had no output. And what was most concerning about the fight, obviously Anderson, look, age is going to catch up to any fighter, and his speed's not the same. But the fact that he got dropped twice,
oh, I know, right?
Very concerning.
Just
was Bisping dropped?
Yeah, twice, and then also don't forget the second Weidman fight. He got dropped in that fight too.
Very true, yeah. So I think that's a concern. But look, Anderson obviously has at least a couple fights left. He has that crazy contract, so who knows? But
he has 17 fights left on his contract.
if he gets like 12, God bless him. But who knows, man? Dan Henderson's still fighting, so anything can happen in this world.
Dude, Dan Henderson had one of my favorite tweets of all time, where he called Lyoto a piece of shit for what he did.
Yeah, oh man, one of the most infamous TRT users. But hey, whatever, Dan. You're
I know, right?
You're a legend. You got a Root to Fight shirt. I guess you're an American hero. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. So,
by the way, it's funny that Dan Henderson wants to fight somebody clean, and they give him Hector Lombard.
Wait, Lombard's back at 180?
Yeah, because I guess with the new weight cutting, I think it affected him. So yeah, he's back at 185.
So Dana White forces this guy to go down to 170 or 175, and then now he's okay to go back to 185.
Well, I think they realize he's not really a contender anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Him versus Robbie Lawler would have been fun if he was a contender. Yeah. I don't know. He just gets gassed too easily, man. Like, he looked good for the first round, and then like, what was that last fight he had against like some kid?
Magny.
Yeah, he looked good the first round, and then afterwards he just disappeared.
Yeah, that's what happened last fight. That fight against Jake Shields, man.
Oh god,
that was torched Jake Shields, and then Shields almost guillotined him, which was kind of crazy. But...
Yeah, so 198. This card, I'm not even kidding. The Fight Pass card looks good. The preliminary card looks good. The preliminary card could be its own fucking show. All right.
Yeah.
The main card, even without the spider, still really good. This is one of those cards where I'm saying to myself, you want $60 or $50 for the HD? Take it. I'm giving you my money for this one. Yeah, it sucked. No more Anderson, but this card is still stacked and so flipping good. Let me just read you the preliminary. Yeah, Renato Monaco versus, like, okay, there's a bunch of people I can't read because they're Brazilian names, but bear with me. Zubaira Tugagov, and then you have Sergio Moraes versus Luan Chagas. But then I'm surprised this is on the Fight Pass card. Antonio Rohiro Nogueira taking on Patrick Cummins. How did this get on Fight Pass?
Well, I think what the UFC is doing now is they're trying to do like a feature bout on Fight Pass. That's been a thing. Like I saw, what was it, Diego Sanchez, I think, and Jim Miller was.
Okay, well that's okay for that to be on Fight Pass because Diego Sanchez is like old, and Jim Miller is kind of like. I was surprised Jim Miller had the record he had when he got announced. I was like, what the fuck? How is this guy so low on the lightweights?
They're just trying to like promote Fight Pass. So now they're doing like one. They're trying to get like the feature bout on Fight Pass where it could attract some attention by having a name. So, but yeah, I don't know. Dude, Lil Nog, every time I watch him, I just get depressed. He's just so brittle at this point. He's slow. Man, that Anthony Johnson fight, I couldn't think to see the more horrifying thing. Like he just took an uppercut and it was over. And I don't know if people listen to Fighter and the Kid, but Brendan Schaub was in Patrick Cummins' corner on that card. I think Cummins was fighting Kyle Kingsbury, and on the same card, they were in the same locker room, Nogueira and Cummins, and Schaub said Nogueira, this was his war up. He hit like the pads 3 times, did like 2 jumping jacks, and that was it. Like he just couldn't train anymore. And Schaub's just like, yo, they should have called the fight there. And then he goes out and gets knocked out in like 38 seconds. I was like, oh Jesus.
Oh.
So. Yeah, Nogueira fights like once a year, and I hope this is the end of it. Big Nog retired in Brazil. I think Lil Nog should retire in Brazil, win or loss.
Yeah, exactly. No more Nogueiras, sadly. Preliminary card, which could be Fight Night 99 or whatever it's at right now. John Lineker taking on Rob Brunt. Francisco Trinaldo taking on Yancy Medeiros in a lightweight bout. Thiago Santos, I didn't know he was still allowed in the UFC, taking on Nate Marquardt. And Damian Maia versus Matt the Immortal Brown. Oh my God. How is this a fucking... Oh, this is great preliminaries. John Lineker, I like watching him fight. Thiago Santos, the fact that he's alive is amazing to me. I didn't know he was allowed to fight. I thought he was suspended for life or something.
Yeah, I guess Brazil. That's all I could say. Brazil. But,
Brazil.
Hey, Nate Marquardt's still doing the damn thing. Man, when he fought, I think it was Kelvin Gastelum in Mexico.
He dominated.
No, Gastelum destroyed him.
Oh, okay.
I forgot who's his corner. Who's Marquardt's main training partner? Trevor Whitman. Trevor Whitman literally threw in the towel. I don't think I've ever seen a fight, except maybe I think it was Nate Diaz, Josh Thompson, where a towel was actually thrown to the octagon to like signal the fight was over. Like he just got torched, but Marquardt just knocked out CB Dalloway, which was kind of a weird fight. So yeah.
CB Dalloway still fighting?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Dude,
tough season 7.
Yeah, is Tyson Griffin still in the UFC too?
No, I don't think he is.
That would have made my night if I heard Tyson Griffin was still fighting. I would have gone back and watched that. I would be like,
I think the last time I saw Tyson Griffin, he was like in a shouting match with John Jones' manager, because I know Tyson Griffin's good friends with Cormier.
Oh, okay.
So
what happened to who is that guy? I'm drawing a blank on his name. He fought Frankie Edgar 3 times and stuff like that. I'm forgetting his name.
Maynard?
Yeah, whatever. I know he got knocked out recently, but where is he?
I think he's moving down to 145, which is kind of crazy considering he's one of the bigger lightweights. But
yeah, he's huge.
He's kind of like in that Bigfoot category. He probably should retire because he cannot take a shot anymore either.
Yeah, because Nate Diaz, last time I saw him, Nate Diaz like picked him apart. But,
yeah. He just had a bunch of guys. I think Ross Pearson also knocked him out. So
Ross Pearson. Holy shit. I haven't heard that name in forever. Holy fuck. He's still fighting, huh?
Yeah, well, he's one of those UK guys they like to trot out there every now and then. But, you want to get into Maya Brown? The other 3 fights are good, but I think it's more...
Oh, no. Maya Brown's a fight. Like, this is a fun fight. You got Matt Brown, known for just being, like... He's a good, decent overall fighter, but he's really known for striking. And you have Maya, who is he just looks so much better at welterweight than he did at middleweight. And he's looking like, remember when Damian Maia was on the rise and everyone said, oh, he's going to kill Anderson and stuff like that? He's looking like he's on the rise. But I don't know, man. Like, it's so hard to imagine someone trying to take down Robbie Lawler. Like, take him down. Not like beat him, but take him down, like actually onto the mat. and stuff because of his takedown defense. But this Damian Maia is looking really, really good. He looks better on the ground, better transit. Like, he's always good at transitioning, but better transitions with strikes. Like, before he would just transition like it was a grappling match. Now he's actually throwing some strikes in there, and he looks very comfortable throwing strikes on the ground instead of it's being forced. And he just looks so good right now at 170. It's amazing.
They've been trying to feed him up and comers. He recently did an interview saying, "Oh, they tried there's Ryan LaFleur, this prospect from Lyon, Neil Magny, and Gunnar Nelson, and he just dominated all of them." And but Maia's just, man, he gets a hold of you. You're going down, and it's unbelievable what's going on. I think he's like 6-2 welterweight, and the only fair is he lost the crazy fight with Rory McDonald where he had Rory a mount, but I think one thing that hinders, obviously his striking is not very good, but his cardio is kind of an issue at 170. He kind of gassed out against Rory, and he also lost to Shields, which I kind of forgot how that fight went. But I know he lost.
Oh no, that fight was boring as fuck. That was a jiu-jitsu fight with MMA rules.
Shocking.
It was so bad. It was as bad as Chael Sonnen versus Michael Bisping in a grappling match.
Oof, but yeah, I remember that. So yeah, Maia with his size and grappling, he could take over everyone. And as much as I like Matt Brown, we saw Hendricks kind of take him down at will. And I did see a picture. Matt Brown brought in actually Jake Shields to help him train BJJ grappling. So maybe Brown can help him there. But unless Brown's cardio takes over, because that's one of Matt Brown's specialties. He's a cardio demon. Well, mine kind of guesses that. With Matt Brown, obviously he's a cardio demon, but it's just tough to see within 3 rounds how it's going to be a complete advantage, because I think Maia's at least good enough to hold on for 2 rounds, and Brazil judges are somewhat biased.
Super biased. They're so biased. It's not even joking here, man.
Look, if it stays on the feet, Brown obviously has the advantage, but I just think Maia, he swarms his opponents, and I think he could neutralize Brown enough. Maybe 3rd round he could take over, but at the end of the day, I got to go Maia by decision.
Yeah, I got Maia by decision too. I can't see Matt Brown winning this fight. I like the Immortal one. He was a good story at one point, but the story got ended when Robbie Lawler met you. And when you meet with Robbie Lawler, that's when all your dreams end. So
yeah, pretty much.
Just a fact of life. Doesn't matter if it was correct or not. Sorry, Carlos Condit. That was a great fight, though. It was a great fight. We're here to fight every day. This is where the real fighters are at. Fucking Robbie, I love you. The main card has Rory Alves taking on Brian Barberena in a welterweight bout. I just think of Alves, Alan, and I gotta tell you the amazing news that Thiago Alves is taking the Anthony Rumble Johnson route.
Oh, is he going on weight?
Yeah, he's going to 205.
Thiago Alves.
Yeah, Thiago Alves.
He's been injured for a while. I heard he might go to lightweight.
No, he said he's gonna go to light heavyweight.
God bless.
That would be an amazing fight. 2 former welterweights going at it, and Anthony Johnson, Thiago Alves.
And I remember Thiago had a lot of problems but with this fight, man, I think it was on the prelims, but obviously I think it's replacing Anderson man, poor Brian Barberena. So he ends this Sage Northcutt bandwagon or hype train, whatever you want to phrase it as, and now he has to travel to Brazil to fight probably one of the best prospects coming out of that tough Brazil season. And yeah, I think it was fortunate to beat Sage Northcutt here. I think he's just going to take a beating.
Is it what tough Brazil season is this? 2, 3, or whatever?
Oh God, I lost track. It was season 3 he was on.
Okay.
So, but yeah, he's 10-0. This Rory Alves, he's one of the better prospects. I'm trying to see, where does he train at? No, he's not no Uniao guy. Yeah, he doesn't really train in some big gym, but a lot of people talk highly of him, and I think Brian Barberena is getting punished for choking out old Sage Northcutt.
How dare you beat one of our up-and-comers, Sage Northcutt? Fuck you. But Dana, it's a fight. Fuck you.
Yeah, that was so weird. Like, I remember Sage tapping on him, which is like, how did he tap out that? Brian Barberena, if you look at pictures, he looks like the most average-looking dude possible, man.
Dude, Sage Northcutt's first fight. But Sage Northcutt's first fight, dude, he didn't look good his first fight.
Oh, man, He's had so many fights. For a young kid, I think he's already fought like 5 times. It's crazy. They really just pushed him, and they try to give him easy opponents. But man, like a fighter that young shouldn't be fighting 3 times in like 6 months. I think that's what they did with him eventually.
Yeah, they were hoping they would get Vitor in a bottle with him.
Vitor.
No, they were hoping like, oh man, this is a white Vitor. Nothing can beat old school Vitor.
His body, he looks like TRT Vitor. Anyway, I definitely got Alves here. I just Barbarina. I know he trains with Benson Henderson, all those guys at the MMA lab, but I think he was very fortunate to fight Sage. But,
all right, so I'm going with Manny Alves because last time I saw Brian Barberna, he trains with Benson Henderson, you said, and I saw Benson Henderson get his ass kicked. So that wasn't fun.
Poor Benson Henderson. Going up to 170, man. It worked that one time.
He thought he was a welterweight contender. Just because you have big thighs, Benson, doesn't mean you're a welterweight. Light heavyweight, Mauricio Shogun Hua. After beating up on Little Nog, is taking on Corey Anderson, who robbed Tom Lawler of a win at UFC 196. That was a robbery. That was so bad. I don't know what the judges were seeing in that fight.
Yeah, it was close, but man, I thought Lawler. I think he won the first round, and I think it was the second round. But it was kind of a lackluster fight. But yeah, Corey Anderson, he trains over at Frankie Edgar.
What's his? He has like a stupid nickname, right? 25-8 or something like that.
No, Beastin 25-8.
Yeah,
it might be the most head-shaking nickname out of them all.
I'm like, what is this guy's nickname, man? Like, he just looked so bad in that Tom Lawler fight, man. Like, I think Shogun picks this kid apart.
Yeah, you don't know where Shogun is at this point because he's been out, I think, for like 9 months now, and man, it's crazy that he was. I think he's only like 32 years old. Yet it feels like he's 42. Oh no, he's 34. Excuse me. But to me, he's like a 42-year-old body. Like he just taking so much punishment. But Shogun in Brazil, these Brazilian legends, man, you just never know what could happen. They just resurrect.
Yeah.
Like I'll never forget when Big Knock came back. He was fighting Brendan Schaub when Brendan Schaub was somewhat becoming a big thing, and when Nogueira knocked him out, I swear Brazil celebrated.
Oh, they were celebrating because Schaub was talking all this shit. He said he was gonna go down there and submit Big Nog, and Big Nog knocked him out.
God, that's the ego of a young man, as they say. But yeah, these Brazilians, you never know what happens. And Shogun still has that boxing where he can just knock it out. And obviously the Muay Thai with the knees. But Corey Anderson is a wrestler, and that could somewhat neutralize Shogun. And who knows, Shogun, I don't know how much he could take a punch left because OSP knocked him out, 30 seconds? Obviously, Hendo had that crazy knockout on him. I think he's only like 2-4 his last few fights. Like he just
the last time I saw him, he was beating up on Little Nog. He beat up on Little Nog on that Rousey show. Rousey lost.
That's not saying much, but yeah, he just hasn't been very active lately. The injuries have derailed him, but I'm gonna go Corey Anderson. I hate to go there. I know Pride never died. People want to believe that still. But,
Pride has not died. What are you talking about? Pride FC 300's happening this weekend.
I'm gonna go Anderson by boring decision, unfortunately.
I'm go Shogun second round KO. Look, we either gonna get Shogun who doesn't give a fuck. He's just happy that he's gonna get a paycheck because he's in Brazil, or we're gonna get the Shogun where he actually cares about a fight. And Shogun's such a 180 fighter. You do not know which one you're gonna get. You're gonna get either the killer Shogun or you're gonna get the Shogun that's just so lazy. So
yeah, he's the light heavyweight version of Frank Mir. That's what.
Oh yeah, 100%. Up next, the most exciting fight of the night. I'm super excited for this one. Chris Cyborg Santos in the UFC. Holy fucking shit. Taking on Leslie Smith. Like, okay, I'm being dead honest. But minus Stipe and Redoom and the co-main event, this fight right here, when I heard it was announced, I was saying $50 right away. I love watching Cyborg fight. She's so fun to watch fight. Like, I don't care what anyone says, steroids and whatever. Fuck you. Just appreciate a big, strong woman for once, man. And she's going to kill Leslie Smith. Rest in peace. R.I.P. Leslie Smith.
I think people got to let that go. What did she fail, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Everyone's failed. We just talked about Overeem before. I think people have forgiven Overeem now. Look, at the end of the day, UFC is the strictest drug testing now. When she fails, then call her out. But at this point, she's clean. And I would recommend watching the Bed series. They're showing her a lot, and she comes off really good. She's a loving mother, and I was really she was so far been the most exciting part. So it's cool that they're giving her this promotion with their Embed series, because I think people should. There's only a certain amount of people I know. Obviously, the hardcore fans aren't, but the UFC's expanding to different audiences. So, and people have been talking about her eventually fighting Rousey, although that might have died down now. But nevertheless, Yeah, man. I don't see this going more than maybe 90 seconds, and that's possibly putting it kindly.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Leslie Smith. I'm pretty sure you're a nice lady and all, but you're facing Cyborg Santos. You're fucked.
Yeah, I think Leslie Smith's like 8'6", and she actually trains at the Cesar Gracie, so she's part of the scrap pack. So
Oh.
now you know why she's not card. But I don't know if you remember when she fought Jessica Ai, UFC 180. She had her ear taken off.
Oh yeah, that was disgusting. Yeah.
That's how people know her as. Like I remember Mick Foley like tweeting at her saying, "Hey, buddy, like we just got with the whole ear thing." But yeah, man, Cyborg. I think she's like a minus 1,700 favorite. So
Oh my god, that's like almost Leicester City favorite, Leicester City underdogness right there.
Or it reminds me of when Rousey fought Betch Correa. I think Rousey was like 2,000.
Oh really?
Yeah, like because Betch Correa. Come on.
But she beat up all the Force Horsewomen. She has to be good.
the job squad, as they say. But yes.
Go watch Shayna Baszler on Twitch with Mighty Mouse.
Oh, Cyborg first round, obviously.
Oh yeah, 100%. Now the next fight. Okay, Alan, you gotta tell me this. When the fuck did Jacare pick up the nickname the Alligator?
I don't know. Was it in Strike Force? That's a good question.
Yeah, it was. No, for whatever reason now, Jacare comes out and he does the Florida Gator Chomp.
It's awesome. I love it. And then he just walk inside the octagon. It's a cool gimmick.
I like it, but I don't know where it came from. It just Jacare. Okay, so not a lot of people know about Ronaldo Jacare Souza. For you guys don't know, he's the former Strikeforce middleweight champion. Lost to Luke Rockhold, but pretty much he hasn't really been on that many major UFC cards. Like he's always been like a UFC on Fox, free TV type of dude. Like he's been on a few pay-per-views, but I don't think like anything major, you know.
He was on the McGregor Aldo card, and that's probably been the only big one. He's been on a lot of fight nights.
Mm-hmm.
He was on, I think, the Fox one when Rockhold destroyed Machida, but yeah, they haven't really promoted him that well. It's been disappointing because he's one of Brazil's better fighters, not better fighters, one of their most elite fighters.
Yeah, and he's one of the more, like, in my opinion, one of the more exciting fighters in the UFC. I think fans would like Jacare. I mean, coming out doing the alligator chomp and stuff. But yeah, this is probably his biggest fight against our boy Vitor Belfort. I'm so torn on this one. I love both. And this is
your boy, man. I have no love.
Oh, you have no love? I thought you loved Vitor.
Look, respect to a legend, but man, he's probably the most infamous abuser when it comes to PEDs.
Oh yeah.
I just don't like
TRT Vitor.
And the whole John Jones thing came out, and he like refuses to talk about where he basically tested positive against John Jones before the fight, and
really?
Athletic Commission just said, "Oh, we're gonna take you out there." And just think about it, man. Like John Jones nearly got his arm broken off.
That was like when Chael almost beat Anderson, and he tested positive too.
Yeah, but the thing is, they knew that he failed beforehand.
They knew beforehand.
Yeah, John Jones still is thinking about pressing charges. Like
wait,
he might sue the Toronto Commission.
Why did they hate John Jones that much?
Well, it was after 151, so maybe that. But they were desperate because at the time they didn't want to put Chael on. I think Machida turned down a rematch. So it was when Jones. They were
supposed. He was supposed to fight Henderson, and then Henderson got injured. Then John Jones said, "No, I don't want to fight Machida because that was my lowest pay-per-view buy rate."
And Chael's son also. Chael was gonna.
My friend who like knows Shogun's trainer, he says Shogun got a phone call to fight John Jones in the replacement, and Shogun laughed and he handed up the phone.
Dude, that was when it comes to title fights, that might have been one of the most gruesome beatings I've seen. But yeah, just Vitor, I just think he's very shady, and for a guy as smart as him, because if you hear him in interviews, he's very bright.
He's going to Stanford University. He has to be bright.
Yeah, but he's made a lot of good points with the whole terrible Reebok deal, and look, you gotta respect the legends, but at the same time, when it comes to he's never fessed up about it. And that pisses me off.
Yeah, I can understand from your point. I just like seeing Vitor just kill people. That's like the Vitor I know and love.
Oh yeah, of course, man. Head kicking Bisbing and Rockhold.
But that was all in the TRT days. The TRT Vitor. Are we gonna see? Is TRT Vitor back?
I doubt it, man. I think this is going to be one of the more one-side fights. I really like Jacare's chances, especially when if he gets the fight to ground. Because you saw Weidman when he got Vitor ground, and Weidman just got into mount and finished him in a matter of minutes.
Oh, I know. That was crazy.
Yeah, like maybe Vitor has one explosive. Like if you remember the Weidman fight, he caught Weidman once and he had that one little explosive run, but he's just mad. I think he's so deflated now, and he's not training at the Black Zillions anymore. He has his own camp. I saw. It says like Team Belfort, whatever that means. So I just can't trust him. I think Jacare is still one of the top middleweights in the world. He kind of got screwed in that Romero fight.
Oh yeah,
you could have argued he won, and then Romero tested positive for a banned substance. I'm shocked that that's not no contest. They still have him down as a loss, which I don't think is fair. But nevertheless, I still think he's like a top 3 middleweight.
Oh yeah, no, Jacare is really really good, and I agree with you. I think that Jacare is going to win this one via decision. I don't see if he. Unless Vitor comes out Vitor sprint, that's all Vitor is. It's like if he doesn't get the Vitor sprint, he's not gonna win the fight. Like Vitor doesn't like using his jiu-jitsu unless it's a guillotine. That's his favorite jiu-jitsu hold. Jacare just has all these different moves, and yeah, if he mounts him, it's over. It's over for him. Jacare is probably the most deadliest fighter at 185. That these guys are like minus Luke Rocco because he beat him. But I think even Luke Rocco says, like, fuck, I don't want to fight Jacare again. It was nice that I beat him, but not again. I don't want to fight this guy right now.
That was a 5-round war.
Yeah.
Strikeforce. So.
You can watch that on Fight Pass. It's on. They recently put some Strikeforce fights on Fight Pass. Finally, it's pretty damn good.
Strikeforce, but yeah, just Vitor, and he's known to gas out too. So I think it's a rough matchup for him. I'm a little surprised he took the fight, but I guess he took the fight because it was in Brazil and he wants to fight there. But I thought Vitor at this point would just want to take either favorable matchups or just guys that are considered legends. Like I thought him against Anderson would have been cool, but apparently he doesn't want to do it again. He doesn't want to I guess the first time didn't go too well.
Front kick to the face. But the main reason why this card is so great is the heavyweight championship fight between Fabricio Werdum taking on Stipe Miocic. Stipe Miocic he's just a fun fighter to watch. Like I'm telling you guys when I say this, man, this guy makes you want to watch like MMA. Like he's one of those type of fighters. I think he's a much more better version of like what JDS was supposed to be. You know, Junior Dos Santos, he's like that good kid that's really good at fighting, and you're like, oh, he's so fun to watch. I think Stipe is so much better than JDS in so many aspects when it comes to it. He's just a fun guy to watch. Like you can't miss a Stipe fight. Like the JDS fight, I'm just saying, kind of shady business over there, but you know, just saying. But the thing is, it's like minus cardio issues, there's nothing really to complain about with this kid. He's well rounded. He's like if he wins the belt, I don't see anyone taking it from him. I'm being dead honest when I say I know I said Reem looks unstoppable, but I don't see Reem beating him. I don't see Kane is just, like, I'm sorry, dude. Cain Velasquez is an idiot. This guy is such a moron. Why were you freaking fighting Fabricio Werdum standing like you're a lightweight, gassing yourself out, and then when you knew you weren't training in Mexico and you're below sea level, and then later on you freaking go for a takedown and leave your head wide open for a guillotine? Like that's not a world champion to me. A world champion doesn't do that shit. That's like John Jones doing that shit. Like oh my, like John Jones would never do that. Chris Weidman would never do something stupid like that. Like I know Chris Weidman's not a world champion. I'm just throwing former world champions for example. It's just ridiculousness.
Yeah, he totally mismanaged the situation, and obviously AK is one of the best gyms, but I was shocked Javier Mendez didn't take him there sooner, and yeah, he's just somewhat of a wasted talent. I know he's fighting at 200, and he could resurrect his career like a heavyweight. God, almost every heavyweight has resurrected their career at one point. So look, he's far from done, but this guy, man, he had so much push behind him, and he was Mexico's big star, and he's fought like once in the past like 2 years, or possibly even 3 years. Like it's just, man, he had so much, especially when he beat Brock and then he destroyed Junior those 2 times. Like, this guy had such a big name, and people are considering possibly, besides Fedor, the best heavyweight in the world. But now you could argue Werdum might be the greatest heavyweight ever. I should say ever, not in the world. But man, I don't know with that fight. Like I would be intrigued by the rematch, see how Kane's cardio is, but. Man, just trying to take down Werdum, you're playing with fire.
Oh yeah,
his guard just so dangerous. Like anything could happen. Like I think the only fighter to really get away with being in his guard was Overeem, and Overeem, let's face it, he was on something during that fight.
Yeah,
it was during the Overeem days. And actually, Mark Hunt was in his guard, which is kind of funny. Out of all people, Mark Hunt didn't get tapped out, eventually got knocked out. But I remember Hart was in there for a few minutes, but Hunt's just so massive where it's almost like he's really improved in terms of grappling, but him in general are just hard to submit. But nevertheless, like man, Verdum just so dynamic now with Rafael Cordero training with them, and you just see they get the flying knee against Honda, just totally destroying Verdum, just picking up poor left and right. Like, he's a complete package, and as much as I like Stipe, he's not that unpredictable. He likes to box a lot. He's has high output. He's not your typical heavyweight where he's looking for power shots. He's constantly jabbing. He's gonna look for 1-2s, and that's great. And I do think he could push Verdum a little bit, but I just think Verdum has a lot more weapons, and having to go to Brazil, that's another factor. I just think a lot of disadvantages are on Stevie. But
Yeah.
hey, he really wanted this title shot, and he deserves it, of course. But I think this is a bad matchup for him.
Yeah, it could be a bad matchup, but I think that he might prevail. I'm going with Stipe. 4th round KO on Verdum. That smiling face won't be smiling anymore. I like Verdum. He's very good in the guard. On the ground, Stipe is not going to go onto the ground this fight. I don't think Stipe is going to let Verdum control the fight. I think Stipe is going to come in. The fans are going to go Humate, Humate all they want. And that Humate chant, they should be chanting it for Stipe. They'll be Humate Stipe. Because they're going to say Stipe is going to kill you as Stipe defeats Fabricio Verdum. Like, maybe I'm just not a fan of Verdum because I feel like with this title wins, he beat Mark Hunt. I love Mark Hunt. He's great. But you beat Mark Hunt. And then you beat Kane that was out of shape. Like, come on, dude.
that win over Travis Brown was pretty impressive. Brown was hot at the time.
Yeah, that's true. Travis Brown win, I'll give him that. But other than that, I don't know. Like, when I hear Joe Rogan say, he may be the greatest heavyweight champion of all time. He hasn't defended the belt yet, Joe Rogan, so shut the fuck up.
That's a very good point. But I think you look at the names, like, he's beaten up 3 of the top 5 greatest. I think a lot of people consider Nogueira. I know Nogueira was done at the time, but Nogueira's obviously up there, and Kane and Fedor up there. And I know he lost to Junior, and Junior's probably up there. But
he didn't beat Brock Lesnar, though, did he?
Imagine that fight, man. Jesus. I think Brock gets just murdered. Like,
I don't know.
If Brock tries to shoot on him, forget it.
I don't know. Suplex City, Brock Lesnar.
Dude, I was so upset when he didn't come. Like, as a fanboy, I was upset. I understand why he didn't come back for health reasons and just making better pay in WWE, but man, just one Brock spectacle, like
just one fight would be good enough, you know?
Yeah, man. And obviously, the trilogy with Mir, because Mir is one of my favorites of all time. The Mir fight just would have been. It would have been such a mess of a fight because both guys are clearly have seen better days, but just the animosity. And, oh my god, it would have been fun because UFC 100 was like the first ever pay-per-view I really watched. That's why I became a fan, and God, that was so much fun.
It's the biggest. I know Conor McGregor is going to argue, but buy rates don't lie, motherfucker. Still the biggest selling pay-per-view in UFC history.
Yeah, man, what a spectacle.
It's an event. People, I know people who still talk about UFC 100 today. They talk about GSP's dominance and, you know, Lesnar and Mir, and just like the surprising result of Lesnar just manhandling Mir in that rematch. I mean, it was just surprising to see, like, because like Brock Lesnar's not really. Let's face it, Brock Lesnar's UFC run, it was great for money and aspects, but inside the cage, like, yeah, he beat Randy Couture, yeah, he beat Frank Mir, yeah, he beat Shane Carwin, but it was just like it wasn't that amazing the fights. It was just the spectacle of seeing this guy who felt like he didn't belong into the sport, this monster, this beast, just kind of dominating a bit. And I feel like if Lesnar had more years of training, he could have easily be like our heavyweight champion, you know? I don't think Kane would have handled him as the way that he did if Lesnar had more years of training under his belt.
You couldn't have said it better in terms of Brock didn't go into wrestling, and if he didn't try football and all that, because just his body, if he went to a real camp, because that camp in Minnesota, I don't think really helped him. I think Brock just went on pure power and physical ability. I think that's how he manhandled people. But yeah, if he went with, I remember Joe Rogan talking about if he went with someone like Faraz Sahabi, could you imagine it, like learning his strike, him train with GSP and just having that fighter IQ?
Yeah. He'd be dominant. He would just be he would be GSP, but less boring.
Exactly. But just a whole lot of violence and hammer fist. But, yeah, I'm going to go Verdum 3rd round. I'm going to say submission. I think he's going to, I don't want to say guillotine. I'm going to go with the classic rear naked choke. I just think he's going to rock Stipe and then on the ground not much of a contest there. And my family's gonna hate me for picking Steve. I just think Verdum's the complete package right now. I'm really impressed at what he's doing. As good as Stipe is, Stipe doesn't really train at big camp, which is always a little concerning. And Verdum, his improvements in his striking really jumps out to me because we really didn't see that in him, like the way he's throwing these front kicks and just picking fighters apart. Like I remember when he put Roy Nelson. I know Roy Nelson's kind of a punchy bag, but I remember when it was his first fight back in the UFC. It was kind of over him most. He just decimated Roy Nelson with knees and leg kicks and all that. I think he's really just evolution in himself as a fighter. So
the good thing about this main event is it's a well balanced kind of like even main event where it's just like anything can happen. It's just like that one main event where you're just like you pay your money for. That's why I say this card's worth the money, because the main event alone, it's not some like one-sided BS. It's not like John Jones versus Oben St. Preux. It's like a Robbie Lawler fight. You don't know what's gonna happen. That's why it's just like, man, dude, like Stipe could go out there and just like outclass Verdum somehow, because Verdum never fought a fighter like himself, or Verdum could go out there and outclass Stipe, or hey, maybe this is a classic heavyweight bout that we've just been waiting for to see. You know,
because we unfortunately we only get heavyweight title fights like once a year at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe we'll get 2 this year, hopefully with Alistair.
We all know Verdum wants that New York card too. Everyone wants the MSG card.
Oh yeah, it's the payday.
Make that Conor McGregor money.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for this card in general. Brazil card. I just love seeing. One big complaint I have with the UFC, I don't know why they're doing it. I guess obviously it's the fight capital of the world, but they do so many shows in Vegas, and seeing them go to countries like Croatia and Holland was beautiful because those crowds get hyped. And obviously this Brazil crowd, they're going to be going crazy. I just like seeing them go into different markets, and because eventually Vegas, there's only certain crowds, like only Conor or Prime Minister bringing in that European or South American fan base with them, and to get crowd. Because in Vegas, man, they don't go crazy. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta love the chance.
The T-Mobile Center is gonna go lights out for UFC 200. No, it's not.
Yeah. So you want to talk a couple future events?
Yes, sir.
Summer that we're excited about.
Yes.
So I guess 199 is probably the next big one. We'll talk.
What about Almeida versus Garbrandt? That's like kind of a big bantamweight matchup. 2 undefeated prospects going at it.
Yeah, I think Garbrandt's a little over his head. He hasn't really been tested that much. Almeida looks like the next real big thing. But yeah, it's a cool fight. Definitely it's going to be all action. How about Renan Barao, man?
He's going to featherweight now, huh?
Yeah, I remember Dana saying, "Oh, this guy is the best fighter in the world," all that nonsense, and TJ Dillashaw just tore him apart. I thought the UFC was really behind this guy, and so he goes to featherweight, and they match him against a guy who's probably the biggest featherweight, Jeremy Stevens, and I think that's an awful matchup for Barao. I don't know how he could take a punch at 145. I assume he'll have a speed advantage coming from bantamweight, but at the same time, why would you put this guy against arguably the most heaviest?
Does that mean Jose's going up in weight? Because aren't they friends?
Well, Jose has always been 145, and he's fighting Frankie.
Okay, no, but I'm saying like, will he go up in the future then? Like, is he going to move up soon?
Who knows? Maybe if the time comes, but I think they could avoid each other. Like, I remember Rumble and Rashad managed to avoid each other. But then again, you look at guys like over him. Who knows what will happen? But Barao, look, he has to prove himself at featherweight. He's in a whole new division. Who knows how he looks?
Why did he move up? I don't get that.
I think the weight cuts really got to him. Like, remember that one pay-per-view where he had to pull out last minute?
Oh yeah. And Dillashaw beat up some bum.
Yeah, Joe Soto, I think it was. But Barao is. I think that's why you're going to go 145. But this card's cool. One fight, man. How about Jorge Masvidal versus Lorenz Larkin?
Oh, God.
Jorge Masvidal is fighting this large guy. Like, Larkin was a middleweight for most of his career. Now he's fighting him. But I always love Jorge Masvidal. I think he's a fun scrapper. And Lorenz Larkin, too, is fun to watch. So I think that's one of those cool underrated bouts.
UFC 199, looking good. Originally, CM Punk was supposed to fight at this card. No CM Punk.
Yeah, man, I don't know when that's gonna happen. A lot of people are giving grief about it, and I guess rightfully so. But then again, I don't think UFC did themselves any favor by announcing so quickly his arrival. back in, I think it was December 2014.
Jeez, yeah, it's almost like 2 years, and CM Punk still hasn't stepped off. God, man, he must be. Does he get paid for this shit? Like, he better be getting paid.
I don't know. I don't think he's official. I don't think Reebok has him sponsored as one of their main guys. You know, Reebok sponsors their select people, but okay, man, he made a ton of money. I don't think he's suffering at all. I don't feel.
Yeah. He's writing He's writing Drax the comic book. Batista's helping him write the comic book too.
That's a connection. So yeah, I think maybe we'll find the fall. But at this point, man, I think the buzz is kind of just killed. Look, when he gets his Octagon, I'll be a little buzzed for it. But right now, it's just. Let's see if he can make it through a training camp, because it looks like right now he can't.
Yeah, no. Michael Bisping said, like, in practice fights, CM Punk has lost all of them.
Bisping said that?
Yeah, Michael Bisping. Someone said that. I thought it was Michael Bisping though. I read an article. It was like Bisping said that CM Punk lost 6 out of 8 practice fights or whatever, or 6 out of 9 or something like that.
I wonder where he gets the information, because obviously he's not Rufus Camp. Like, I was wondering if maybe Pettis gave him the information, or Ben Askren.
Yeah, Ben Askren, what's he up to nowadays? He's still he's not
in Asia.
Oh, really? Good for him.
Making that cheddar. Rampage Jackson would once say, but this 199 card. So
in the
looks like a feature bout. How do you feel? I don't know. I forget if you're a huge BJ Penn guy.
BJPenn.com, yes.
Yeah. So he's gonna fight now Cole Miller, which is kind of a weird fight, but I think it's very winnable for him.
Yeah. No.
Man,
Cole Miller kind of matches up pretty well for old BJ.
Yeah, I think the whole thing with BJ is here because we saw Greg Jackson resurrect Arlovsky's career. Can he do the same with BJ? I think that's the only reason why I'm kind of excited to see BJ. But
oh yeah, cause okay, BJ comes out like he did the last Frankie fight, where he thinks that on BJ Penn I can still strike like crazy. No, you gotta come out BJ. You gotta be slow, because Cole Miller, he's not great. Okay, let's be real. He's Cole Miller. He's a veteran. He's a veteran.
Old scrappers.
Yeah, if he does what Frankie did, just watch the Frankie fight Cole Miller, you'll be fine. But don't try to play into BJ's game, because that's what Greg Jackson does well at. Is that, like, the way his fighters fight, it's like they hypnotize you or something, and they say, you will strike me, you will get taken down, you will do this. They do that weird shit with their hands. It's like they're hypnotizing their opponent to, like, freaking make them do stuff that they shouldn't be doing. Like, that's how I see it with these Greg Jackson fights and the Weekly John fighters. They just do sort of that weird hand motion. You don't know what they're going to do. They're not really counter punchers, but they will strike you first. But they just get you. They just hypnotize you, and they put you in a lull, where then all of a sudden they just come out of nowhere and they just do whatever they want to you. The only fight, like, there's certain fighters that can't really pull it off that well. But, you know, BJ Penn's a veteran. So if he's able to teach the waterfall technique to BJ Penn, oh man, dude, we might be seeing the resurgence of BJ Penn.
I wish he stayed retired, but look, if anyone could see him, it's probably Jackson. But yeah, look, I guess it's a cool attraction. But I'm just so.
So when did Dustin Poirier move up to lightweight?
I think he got tired of cutting to 145 after the counter fight went up, and him against Bobby Green. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
Bobby Green, he's very injury prone, so. I don't know if this fight's happening yet.
But to be confirmed.
Dude, he's pulled out like 8 fights, I think. Bobby.
Oh, really?
So it's a cool opening scrap. Both guys like to strike. Obviously, like I said, if it happens. But yeah, Poirier, he's very explosive at 155. But I think if he ever fights like a big time grappler, I think he'll get taken down. Well, I just think he's a little too undersized at 155.
Yeah, this card looks really nice. I like Max Holloway versus Ricardo Lamas. That's like a different battle going on, different styles battling each other. Obviously, Cruz versus Faber, and Luke Rockhold versus Chris Weidman. And I just want to say, I hate Chris Weidman, where he's like, look at Luke over there, acting all cocky because he beat me. Fuck you, Chris Weidman. You were acting cocky when you beat Anderson. Like, what's your you little hypocrite, man? Like, I hate when he says that.
So in New York, I live close to Long Island. And I didn't interview him, but I met Wyman for a few minutes during, I think it was when they were pushing to legalize the sport in New York. I think it was like 2013. It was like this whole Senate meeting. It was him, Cruz, Lamas, Araldo, and Barral. They were all there. And I got to speak with Wyman. He was a cool, laid back dude, but just, you listen to his interviews or just read it, he comes off very poorly. Like I just get really turned off by him. The way
Yeah,
he
I don't know if he's not like watching him as a fighter. He's fine to watch as a fighter, but just when like certain stuff he says, it's just like, dude, shut the fuck up. Sometimes, like, who's telling you to say these? Like when he said, "Oh, Luke Rockhold, you're acting all cocky over there." Like Luke Rockhold's just chilling back, laying back in the press conference. You're all the one that's saying that, "Oh, I'll beat Anderson Silva." And stuff like that. Like, stop acting like you're cocky. Luke Rockhold's acting cocky. He should act cocky. He kicked your ass. Like,
yeah, if I knocked out Bisbing, Weidman, and submitted Machida, or I either KO'd or either TKO'd or sub Machida, I forget. And he sub Bisbing. But the fact is, he destroyed all three. Well, not destroyed, but he viciously beaten all three of those guys. Like, those are three pretty highly ranked middleweights. Like, if I destroyed all three of those guys, I would be a little cocky. So look, Rocco could do what he wants. Yeah, the champion. I just think Wyman, like, for a guy who says he doesn't like to make excuses, he made a lot of excuses saying, "Look, I understand he broke his foot. I think he broke his foot before the fight, but at the same time, he was throwing a lot of kicks in that fight. And to me, it's just you gotta know your boundaries, man. If you had to pull out, pull out. He's pulled out a bunch of times, as we all know. So I don't know why. I guess because Conor was fighting, he knew it was gonna be a highly bought pay-per-view, so he could get some extra money. That's why he fought out there. And then, what do you think about him taking this fight already? Because if he loses, it's very difficult to get.
Yeah, see, that's the thing too. Like, yeah, because like the problem was like the UFC was definitely in a rock and a hard place here because Yoel Romero tested positive, and obviously for the Brazil card, they really want Jacare and Vitor. Like Vitor versus Rockhold, I don't know really if there's any interest in seeing that right now, and Anderson, you know, if Anderson would have won, I'm pretty sure they might be singing a different song and being like, "Hey, Spider, you want a title shot again?" and stuff like that. But since Anderson lost, you know, you can't just be saying, "Oh, he's the greatest. He can get a title shot whenever." If Anderson would have won against Bisping, yeah, Bisping probably suffered way too much damage to do a rematch. But yeah, if Weidman loses this fight, that's 2 in a row, which has never happened in his career. And then plus with the middleweight division, which is like, you know, it's not the most stacked division, but it's growing. There's a lot of, you know, very good prospects in this division. A lot of guys cutting down to the division, moving up into the division. So it's a growing middleweight division. And if you're Chris Weidman, you could easily get lost in the shuffle. And, you know, 2 losses in a row, and especially if he gets knocked out again, like he did in this last fight, it's like, dude, that can mess with your psyche. And what if he comes in and he's going to face, you know, the returning Yoel Romero, who's not on steroids, right? And Yoel Romero just destroys him. That's 3 losses in a row, and you went from being like the biggest guy in the middleweight division to now a bum. So I don't know. I think it's
I think he could go 205 if he lost. He's a pretty big guy.
But do you think he could handle some of the 205ers?
Yeah, that's a question. Like if he had to fight a long rangey guy like Gustafsson or try to handle Anthony Johnson's power,
yeah, he will get killed by Anthony Rumble Johnson.
But who knows with it? But I just think it's a big career-altering decision he made, taking this fight 7 months later against someone that it wasn't a complete domination, but he lost very one-sided for a guy who has manhandled his opponents. He's out-grappled everyone. He got completely out-grappled by Rockhold, and he got pretty much bullied. Because when you think about Weidman, his title run, he bullied Anderson, pretty much controlled Machida, and he bullied Vitor. And then when he had to fight Rockhold, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I think he took down Rockhold once, but other than that, and let's not forget, Rockhold was on antibiotics that fight, and I thought he looked kind of gassed out, which was kind of surprising.
Oh, Rockhold! I remember because they had like a weird thing on Fight Pass. It was like UFC Kid version or something. You know when you were a kid and you watched those shows and they would have like little fun facts that would pop up on the screen.
Yeah,
they had that on Fight Pass, and so it was just like little fun facts that were popping up during the fight. And so I just want to rewatch the fight again because they don't have the original. I would have to go through the pay-per-view and fast forward through the pay-per-view and deal with buffering. So I was just like, fuck it, let me just go watch the fight again. And I just remember I think it was it the second round? Rockwell was just like beating on Weidman, and he's all telling the ref, stop the fight. And then afterwards, he was gassed after that round. If there was a round Chris Weidman had to take over, that was it. The third round, because Weidman was Rockhold was gassed. He was tired, and he didn't take over. It's his fault. But
now you have to expect Rockhold hopefully will come in healthy. Although AK, you just never know with them because they just train They don't train very safely. Let's just put it that way.
But why is Uriah Faber getting another title shot, dude? Like, fuck off. I love Faber, but this is ridiculous. He lost to Frankie. Who'd he beat? Some loser to get the shot?
Yeah. Frankie Saenz, I think his name is. Yeah, this is just a fight because of rivalry. Let's just fix it up. Supplies last go, he's 36, and I don't know. I'm kind of down on Faber. It's the whole Dillashaw, Bang Ludwig falling out. I think he's looking really bad coming out of it.
Oh yeah, he looks terrible out of that.
Yeah,
for sure.
He accused Dillashaw of PEDs. It's like, God, like why you had to go down that route? That was very unnecessary. So. And Cruz, like, he's come off the most inspiring comeback.
Oh, dude, that was like, I don't want to hear anyone's excuse. It's Octagon Rust. Okay, fuck that. After watching Dominic Cruz fight, I don't want to hear anyone say, oh, I'm rusty or anything like that. Dominic Cruz just went on and won a bantamweight championship without fighting in 2 years. Yeah. And there goes Demetrius Johnson's hopes of ever wanting to move up to bantamweight and dominate there.
Dude, I think he has to eventually, just for his sake.
No, but he can't beat Cruz.
Yeah, like, go for it. I don't know, just do something fun, man. Like, look, I understand he wants to go for the flyweight title record. He wants to be, like, Anderson in terms of most title defenses. But eventually, you got to do something fun. Like but this is just, like, man, like, there's nothing at flyweight that gets me excited right now with Demetrius Johnson. I don't know anybody who he could fight.
Yeah, no, they have to try to find a time machine and find old school Shinya Aoki, and maybe old school Shinya Aoki will give him a challenge.
Or find, I don't know if you remember Ian McCall, but Ian McCall actually pushed him one fight.
Oh yeah, the controversial fight, and then later on they had a rematch, and then Demetrius just owned him.
Yeah, Ian McCall, I think he's had like 6 surgeries in 2 years, so he's all beaten up. But he's like the only guy that's really pushed him on. There's really nothing at flyweight. It seems to just get manhandled. It was pretty eye-opening. So yeah, who knows what Demetrius, what he's gonna do in the future, but I think he should get the record that eventually fight Cruz. Well, who knows, man? Bantamweight's fine. I assume Dillashaw's eventually gonna fight Cruz again, and that first fight was very.
No, I don't know. He may have to go through Thomas Almeida before he goes through.
Yeah, who knows what they both because
Thomas Almeida is fucking stud, man.
Yeah, and I think he could be Brazil's next big star. Like, I remember when he knocked out Brad Pitt home with that flying knee. Oh my god.
That gets studly. The fight afterwards, this is a great card. Oh my god. UFC is just giving these great cards back to back. Freaking Rory McDonald taking on Stevie Wonderboy Thompson. No injury. God, one fight this year. I don't care. All the fights can get injured. It's whatever. This is the one fight. You do not fuck with injuries with me, man. Do not fuck with injuries on me.
Yeah, man. You want to talk about a Styles matchup, and I think this is the one fight, at least in this division, from a matchup standpoint, where, man, Wonderboy, he's finding the tough. He's finding someone that has a high fight IQ, manages distance well, and is a very good wrestler too. Like, Johnny Hendricks was just totally out of his element when he fought. I think Rory.
I've never seen that. Like, I'm being dead honest. Johnny Hendricks looked like, if I were to tell you, Johnny Hendricks was a former welterweight champion, took GSP to the limit, took Robbie Lawler to one of the best fights I've ever seen. The first one, not the second one. The first fight was one of the best fights I've ever seen. If I were to tell you this guy was a former welterweight champion, taking on Stevie Wonderboy Thompson, after what Stevie Boy did, you would not believe that. You would say, this guy used to be a champion? I've never seen Hendricks got that. That surprised the frick out of me. Just how this guy's amazing. I love Wonderboy. This guy's the new Chase Oliver favorite right now. He is just so fun.
He's so unpredictable, and no one could really solve his style. I think he's the only loss he had.
Yeah, well, 4 years ago. They say he's a karate fighter. What fucking karate is he learning? Teach me this karate.
Dude, his kicks just so unorthodox. But man, Rory used to train with Wonderboy, and obviously with Frost Al, he was one of the smartest trainers out there. It's such a fascinating matchup, and
if Rory would have just listened to Faraz Harabi, he would be our welterweight champion right now.
Or if his nose didn't get broken.
Yeah,
that's another issue.
We love Robbie Lawler here, but he has some questionable title defenses and title wins.
Yeah, he definitely does. You look at even that second Hendricks fight.
That was questionable that he won that one, to be honest.
Yeah, he's gone through it a lot, but Then they damn it, he's Robbie Lawler, and it's a great comeback story.
Yes, we still love you, Robbie. We're just questioning some things.
But the fascinating obviously this fight's fascinating from a matchup point, but this is Rory's last fight on his contract. So who knows what could happen with that in this fight? And it's funny, man. Like if you look at all these guys fighting out their contracts, the UFC they have the knack of giving these guys that want to test for agency the worst. No, I guess you could say worst possible matchup, but just a difficult matchup. You look at when Overeem's last fight, he had to fight JDS.
Mm-hmm.
When Mitch Rion had to fight Travis Braun in the last fight. Now Rory's got to fight Thompson, and he's coming off an 11-month layoff, coming off that war with Lawler. Like you would think they would value Rory and probably give him a little bit of an easier opponent. Like I think they were going to give him Lombard, but that didn't work out. So giving him arguably should be the number one contender. Like if you look at it, like Wonderboy probably should be fighting Robbie Lawler right now.
Are you kidding me? Tyron Woodley is the true number one contender in the welterweight division.
I was telling him, man, I think I can think of at least 5 people I would give a title shot. Like you got Wonderboy,
but Tyron Woodley beat Carlos Condit via Condit injuring himself.
Condit's another guy you give a title shot to. You give a title shot to Damian Maia. You give Nate Diaz if you just wanted for the fun of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not? You could give it to him. Neil Magny even has a case. I think I mentioned Damian Maia. Like just said, Woodley. I think Woodley last time he fought was when he barely beat Gastelum, and that was on the Diaz Silva card. That was over like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, because like when I heard he was fighting Robbie Lawler, I said to myself, like, because I follow the sport, but not as much as I used to. I was like, did he fight on some Fight Pass card I didn't know about or something? Let me go see. So I Googled him, checked his Wikipedia, and he didn't fight till that Gastelum fight. I was like, I freaking rubbed my eyes and I said, let me check Sherdog. And so I checked Sherdog and it said the same thing. I was like, why is he getting the title shot? Huh?
Could you imagine being an 18-month layoff and having to fight Robbie Lawler? I just think that's the worst idea.
No, but who allowed this? Who sat there and said, you know what? Like, what was Joe Silva smoking? I just want to know. Did Joe Silva was just like, let's give it to Tyron Woodley?
I think Tyron, he does a lot of Fox Sports analyst stuff, and they're trying to push him, which is pretty lame. I thought the Condit rematch was
that's the match.
Easiest call.
Oh,
if not Wonderboy, if you want to give the Wonderboy, no one's gonna argue Wonderboy. But I think, man, just give the rematch to Carlos because of how epic that fight was. Just, to me, Woodley just so lackluster, and he really hasn't looked good in quite some time. He hasn't fought in quite some time, which doesn't help. But
Cerrone and Pat.
I'm so like mad about that situation, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying not to get upset about shady decisions in terms or shady matchmaking, I should say.
Yeah, Cerrone and Patrick Otero also fighting. That's a fun little one too. Now this card is not like stacked. It's one of those Canadian shows, so you know there's gonna be a bunch of Canadians, French Canadians, I should say, with names that you can't pronounce, and just like they talk in French and they talk in like a GSP. They talk like him and stuff like that. So, but the main event is definitely like I don't care what other fights you fuck up, injury bug. Don't fuck up this one for me, please. This is going to be a war. I'm telling you right now. The first 2 rounds, you're going to say, Chase, you're fucking with me. No, this is how Rory fights. Rory fights very tactical, but then once it hits that 3rd round, all the fists will be flying, kicks would be flying, everything will be flying, takedowns will be flying. This is going to be a war by the 3rd round. The first 2 rounds. Telling you, it'll be slow, but wait till round 3 and you're going to see one of the best fights ever. It's just how it is. It's just how it is with Rory. He's a good talent, really good talent. Stevie Wonderboy is a great talent. This is just like a great fight. Like, this is pay-per-view. God damn it! I'm glad I'm getting it for free.
I'm happy it's 5 rounds too. You can't hate on that.
Oh yeah, no, the 5 rounds. That's perfect. That's because like I said, Rory's a very tactical fighter. We don't know how Stevie Wonderboy is going to come out for this fight. 5 rounds, that's good enough for a guy like Rory to, like, test this kid's cardio. And it's good to test Stevie Wonderboy's cardio, too, because I don't know any 5-round wars he's been in, unless I missed something.
Yeah, his first 5... No, he's fought 2 5-rounders. He fought Ellenberger, and then he fought Hendricks and knocked them out both pretty early, so... He hasn't really been tested much.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. Because Rory can take a shot. Like, he can take a shot. So I don't see Rory, unless Stevie Wonderboy has like something in his legs, like that I do not like Dynamite. I swear if Rory goes down in one round, I just give the belt to Stevie Wonder. If I'm Robbie Lawler, I'm just saying, hey man, we're here to fight, man. I'm gonna give you my death stare after the round, but here you go, man. Like I'm just giving the belt to him.
Robbie, it's been a good run, but what are you gonna do? Yeah, it's been. Hope you made that good money. He's sponsored by Adidas, so I think he's doing well.
Oh wait, but Reebok.
No, him and Rockhold, I think have like this outside sponsor with Adidas.
Because I was okay. So I was watching UFC on Fox, and Rockhold was rocking all this Adidas gear, and I was like, oh, I think UFC may not be happy with Rockhold on this one because he was wearing his nice Adidas Superstars. Had his pants roll up. There was Adidas socks. He was wearing like those Adidas James Harden Foot Locker shirts. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, I think outside the octagon.
Oh, okay.
But obviously inside it's Reebok for life, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was telling my friend Alan, I was like, "Who the fuck rocks Reebok?" You know what I'm saying? I went to the Reebok store actually. Surprisingly, Alan, we have these here. I didn't know they existed.
There's one in New York City. I can confirm
that. I saw a Reebok store, so I went in. They have some cool stuff. It's just that. I was thinking of getting something, but then there was a giant Reebok logo that just turned me off. I was all like, I don't know if I want this Rousey shirt because there's this giant Reebok logo there that just makes me look like, I don't know, I feel like a loser wearing Reebok. Like Nike you can get away with, Adidas you can get away with, but Reebok, I don't know, unless you're like 40 years old, I don't think you can get away with rocking Reebok.
Yeah, it's just so lame. Like I missed when like brands like The Throne and Bad Boy were putting out shirts.
Yeah, Silver Star and all these tap outs now with WWF. Like, oh god, don't get me started on that shit.
The glory days are over.
Yeah, Reebok for don't you have a McGregor Reebok shirt, but you have a McGregor shirt, right?
I have a McGregor I got a few years ago.
Okay.
I think after when he beat up Poirier, I got one. It was a Black Friday deal. It was like $18. I'm like, this shirt looks cool.
Yeah, because I didn't know if you had a McGregor Reebok shirt. I'm like, Alan, do people give you weird looks when they see it's a Reebok shirt?
Oh, I'm sure it's not the whole fight pay situation. That's a comment for another time. But, yeah, it's awesome doing this stuff, man. It's been a while since I've been. It's been last 6 months, like I said, MMA has been phenomenal. I've been really enjoying it.
Oh yeah.
I think this summer is gonna be even crazier.
Yeah, this summer, barring any injuries, it's gonna be great. I'm pretty sure Alan and I will definitely come back soon with another one of these because we're gonna. We didn't want to talk about too much of the UFC 200 stuff because there's 3 cards that weekend, and really, to be honest, we wanted to cover all the other cards that aren't going on, and maybe closer by that time we will get confirmed that Fedor is actually fighting in the UFC or something, or like more cards will be announced at that time, around that time. So it's like 201 will be confirmed with fights. 202, 203, and stuff like that. So those fights will be solidified and everything like that. It's just that we go over the 200 stuff now. Al and I would have to wait until like another show like after 200 to really talk about something. Because if we talk about the 200 fights now, there's nothing really to talk about. So that's why we didn't really talk about those fights. But we definitely want you guys to check out these next few months of MMA because, this is like literally the next month lineup of MMA for May to June. That month, that's probably one of the best you're going to see from them in quite some time, in my personal opinion. This is like one of their most stacked months that they have.
Yeah, well said, man.
Until they put UFC Fight Pass. Until we get UFC Fight Pass something. I don't know. That's up to UFC. Do you have Fight Pass, Alan?
I do not. If I was still covering the sport, I would have it, but I'm so occupied with us. If you're a hardcore fan or if you're worrying about the sport, I think you should need it or we should use it, but I didn't.
Yeah, I have Fight Pass. The Xbox One doesn't really work that well with it, but it's still cool. It's cool to go back and watch some of the cooler, different fights and stuff. Like what I like to do if I don't know a prospect that well, I just search them on Fight Pass and I watch their fights to see what I missed and stuff like that.
I think after I graduate, maybe I could get it again, but I just did it last year. It's been so busy, and I don't know, Fight Pass, as cool as it is, it's not like my most must-get something right now.
Yeah.
It could change in a few months, who knows. They put Bismuth Silva on there, which is kind of cool, but
That was the most shocking thing of 2016. That was the only reason why I got Fight Pass, and then it just was like the WWE Network. I just kept it. I was like, why get rid of it? It's only $9.99, Moggle. So thank you, Alan. Hopefully we can do this soon, before UFC 200 maybe, and we can talk about.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Before UFC 200, so we can talk about that, and hopefully more cards get unleashed. Guys like Alan, follow him out on Twitter, Alan_Sturk. He talks MMA. If you're an NFL fan and you like the Falcons, he does a Falcons podcast. So, and also he covers what league of soccer do you cover?
I don't like cover a league. I just and I just write vaguely about soccer. But no, my primary job is SB Nation, the Falcons. That's why I really focus on here, because now I get paid monthly. It's kind of like doing media work and all that. So that's like my main priority. But yeah, I'll still tweet about MMA, and soccer is my other two main loves.
Yeah, so I no, but what league do you follow the most? Like, is there a league?
English Premier League.
Yeah, Premier League. So shout out to Leicester City.
The hipster version.
Shout out to Leicester City. So yeah, and you guys can follow me on Twitter at ChaseLauber68. You guys know what I post on here and everything like that. So yeah, till next time, Alan, we will have a good time. And by the way, for all you Charger fans out there, fuck Joey Bosa.